Hi everyone, Nonnie here. I wanted to give you an update on what is going on with me and my feet. And so yes indeed, I did need to come off of the trail at Dennis Cove, which was mile marker 420. And cheerful as this video may appear, that was pretty devastating, and I cried for several days about it. It was pretty depressing. Not what I wanted to do, but it's what was necessary. And so while I was on the top of that mountain, and I had called my husband to come and get me and to pick me up at Black Bear Resort, which is 0.40 miles away from Dennis Cove. I also called the doctor's office, and strangely enough, they had a cancellation for the next morning. So my husband and I drove back home that night, and the next morning I had an appointment to see the orthopedist. The orthopedist took a lot of x-rays and came back in and spoke with me for over an hour about my feet and gave me some news that I was not necessarily happy or thrilled to hear, but it was just the reality of what was occurring. And there wasn't a little problem, there was a bigger problems. And so my feet were in pretty serious condition, and I was advised that I needed to take a break for a good long while. And so after having a moment to hear what was being said to me and process the information, I came back with a counter offer, to which my doctor just kind of bent and shook her head and just said, "Oh my." And so I have been home for a little bit, and I plan on returning to the trail in about a week. My right foot is doing significantly better. There is still some sequelae left over from that, but there is vast improvement. My left foot is being a little more stubborn. And so we're just going to hope and pray that in a week it's going to be fine, and that's what I'm going to do. And having retired from the healthcare profession, yes, I know how long it's supposed to take to recuperate from some things and to listen to your doctors, and I am trying. Many of you are going to ask, what does that mean for me now? This is what it means. I am changing my philosophy on thru hiking, and the reason I am doing that is several-fold. I am no longer going to be a no-go thru hiker, and to some of you, you may be going, what'd she just say? But I'm sorry, that's my neighbor's air conditioning system coming on. I am going to change my thought process for thru hiking to becoming a flip-flopper. And so when I return to the trail, I will be returning in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, and I will be going from that point up to Katahdin, and hopefully I'll be able to make that entire journey. That is my plan, that's my hope. And then when I am finished with that, if my feet are still in good condition, then my husband and I will be going directly to, or even if there's a small break, we will be going back to the Smokies and finishing that half of the Smokies that I was unable to complete before. Some of you are going to remember why I came off the trail at that point, and some of you may not have seen those videos. There was an individual on drugs that was there that was causing me severe heartburn, and was also actually a safety issue. In my mind, for me, it was a danger safety issue. So I decided to come off trail at that point and skip that half of the Smokies to continue on. However, from the very beginning, I did say that my husband and I would go back and that we would complete that section, because that is in North Carolina. It's in our stomping ground, and my husband began the trail with me. This means he can end the trail with me, and it was going to be a very sweet way for me to begin and end my journey with my husband being part of the process. So that's really never been a concern for me. Some of you are probably now saying, well, what about the part from Dennis Cove to, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia? I'm getting to that. All right, so the 47 miles from Dennis Cove to the Virginia border is going to be a section that we also complete when we do the 33.3 miles that are left in the Smokies. We're going to do all of that at one time together. Now you're saying, what about Virginia? Okay, what about Virginia? I'll get to that in just a minute. My hope is that I'm going to be able to go from, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia to Katahdin and do well. If I am, and my feet are still doing well, then I will finish Virginia as well after my husband and I do those other 2 sections. So my philosophy on doing a through hike has changed, and this is why. I am a linear thinker. I have always been a linear thinker. Spreadsheets, data, facts, give them to me. I can calculate them up. I can put them in a spreadsheet. I can, slice them, dice them, and figure it all out. I love going from part A to part B to C, D, E, and getting to the end. To me, that's building a strong foundation. It's experiencing everything until you build up to a crescendo, which would be the climax of reaching Katahdin. And in a perfect world, that would be great. And for many, that will be their perfect world. And I'm thrilled that they're going to be able to do that, or you're going to be able to do that. But for me, I think as I'm getting older and through this hike that I've already experienced, I'm learning that with age comes a little bit of variable in thinking. You either learn to become more flexible or you become more rigid. I'm becoming more flexible, and I am finding that I am not turning myself into a pretzel, but I also don't have to be as straight as a hard ruler either. No critique on anyone, this is just for me. I don't think that there is any difference in value for a person that is hiking from Amicalola or Springer and going to Katahdin than for the person that is starting in West Virginia, going to Katahdin, coming back and finishing Sobo to Amicalola, for somebody that's doing a yo-yo or doing any combination in between. Now, if you're through hiker, of course you need to do that in a 365-day year. I started questioning what were my reasons for doing a hike? Am I really a through hiker? And the answer is yes, I do want to be a through hiker, and yes, I would love to do it in a year. But the bigger thing is the accomplishment. It's the journey. It's not the destination of making sure I get it all done in 1 year. Not for me. It's not. My daughter had to remind me what my number 1 reason was. I remembered reasons 2 through 5. But I forgot the number 1 reason. And when I was explaining to her that I had come off trail, and she was very upset about the fact that I had, because she knew how important this was to me, she said, "Mom, have you forgotten the number 1 reason that you wanted to do this hike?" And I said, maybe I don't know. What is it? She said, "You told me the number 1 reason you wanted to do this hike was because you had been everything for everybody in our family, that you had done everything for all of us and for extended family, and that for once in your life you wanted to do something that was just for you, to feel a sense of accomplishment just for you and a sense of fulfillment." I went, "Oh yeah, that was my number 1 reason." And she said, "Yeah, it was." So with her reminding me of that, that is my number 1 reason for doing the hike. And if my hike is based on that number 1 criteria and that criteria only, then I've already met and accomplished that mission, vision, and goal. And it can only get better by how much more I continue. That's number 1. Number 2, what was my number 2 reason? Well, for those of you that have not seen my storms videos, there are 4 of them, and they are not the most enjoyable videos to watch, but they're truthful, they're honest, and they're factual, and they give you a gut-wrenching view on why I needed to experience healing and the beauty of nature and just be alone to process information. That was beginning to happen. I need to go back and let that continue. That's my second one. Walking and experiencing the beauty of nature, being in the presence of my Creator, seeing biodiversity, exploring, discovery, the little things. It's not crushing miles for me. Again, for anybody else that wants to crush miles, no worries, it's great for them, but that's not my goal. Do you have to push miles to be able to do a through hike and finish? Well, sure you do, but my bigger mission is to be able to heal. That's number 2. Number 3. Number 3 cannot be understood if you have not watched my first and second videos, which are the worst YouTube videos in the whole world. They're terrible. And the reason they're terrible is because I'm not a social media person. For those of you that don't know me, you may not really get that I'm actually shy. I'm an introvert. And you may not see that, but I am. At work, I'm not, because I'm kind of the ruler of that kingdom. But in my personal life, I'm actually pretty shy. I didn't want to do YouTube videos. And I was encouraged to do that because as I was buying gear, going to the doctor, asking questions, I was encouraged to do so because they felt like I was encouraging them and inspiring them, and that I could encourage and inspire others. So the thought process for me continuing a hike was to be able to encourage and inspire females hiking solo, older hikers, those with disabilities, and those that are military veterans. That is what my whole head was wrapped around, was being able to minister and being able to lift up those individuals and let them know somebody cares, somebody wants you to succeed, and somebody wants you to know how much value you bring to this earth and this planet, and that you make a difference. That is what I live to do in my personal life. For outside of YouTube, forget YouTube. That's just how I'm wired. My next reason and my last reason, children. I was contacted by administrators and educators to get permission from me to share my YouTube videos with their classrooms in order for children to learn about ascents, descents, biodiversity, mileage, experience the beauty of nature, and many of them will never see a forest. Some of them don't have family that will take them out and let them experience anything. Some of them, this is planting seeds where they go home and say, hey mom, hey dad, hey brother, hey cousin, hey grandpa, will you take me out and go hiking with me today? It's already happened. It makes my heart so happy. So, my point in sharing all that with you is a thru hike important to me? It sure is. I want to complete the whole thing. Am I going to be able to do it? I don't know. I'm going to do my best. Regardless if I do complete the hike, it is a win situation for me because my mission, my vision, and my goals will be met in that I did something for me. I was able to encourage and inspire others. Children have talked about being able to go out hiking. They've come and asked me about the adventures of being in the woods, and healing has occurred. My heart is healed, it's healing, it's getting better, and so is my mind, and it's been a terrific blessing to me. So, for those of you that do not feel like you can continue my journey with me because I'm not doing an official thru hike, I get it, I understand. And while that's not what I want to hear, and I'll see it in the numbers whenever these subscribers see this video, it's okay. I understand. We all have our thing and we want to, experience and enjoy and get something out of what we're spending our time watching. But for those of you that have been with me from the beginning or joined me after those first few videos or didn't start until my hike began, and you're going to stay with me, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, how much that makes me happy and brings me joy. So thank you so much for letting me share my reasons with you and the status update of my feet. And I'm going to be doing a couple more videos before I leave home to answer lots of questions people have sent me over the last many weeks that I have not been able to answer because I've been on trail and I just couldn't do it. If you all have any questions now that you want to ask me about the trail or about, whatever, please go on ahead and send them to me. I'll try and include them in those videos. And I appreciate every cheerleader that's been on Team Nonnie. You guys have been the best squad. I appreciate you with all of my heart. So until my next video, take good care.